Since the beginning of time, humans wanted to be happy, and they wanted to flourish. Yet the scientific study of what makes life worth living is only a recent undertaking. In these 30 years, much has been revealed about how to live well, and I want to share these findings with you. The top positive psychology interventions that have helped me immensely. So, I won't waste your time with theory, because you can waste your own time by reading this book. This is a beginner's guide to the science of well-being. If you are interested in its theory, I recommend this course and then these two long books on it. Let's start with what won't make us happy. First, it is no thing that will make us happy. After getting our basic needs met, the increases in our wealth only make a marginal difference in our happiness. They don't disappear, don't get me wrong, they just become less pronounced. But money can buy happiness, if it is spent on others or experiences. These are the investments into your own well-being, and it is within the first tool, acts of kindness. Choosing a single act of kindness to undertake per week has been shown to dramatically increase positive affect, which is fancy scientific language for good vibes and good feelings. And that is to an unexpected level, as you can see. It is in our own benefit to be kind to others, and that has been demonstrated in the scientific literature. An important part before we undertake any random act of kindness is to not expect any reward. The expectation of reward would counteract the positive benefits on our well-being. That is how we maximize the buff that it gives us. We can think of all of these interventions as buffs that can boost us in a way. That is the whole point of positive psychology, is to change the focus from what's wrong with people to what is right. We are no longer getting rid of nerves here, but we are giving out buffs with it. That's basically the gist of it. And with the acts of kindness strategy, we get these buffs to our well-being. More or less. It also depends on your personality type. Surprisingly as well, if you are more introverted, then it might benefit you more. So take that into account. But an easier strategy for introverts would be using your signature strengths in a new way. I have this acronym for using our strengths. DREAM. First, we discover our signature strengths, which we can do by taking this test, or this one. And after finding out about your signature strengths, because there are many of them, then you can recognize the ways that you have been previously using them, and the ways that they have been making you well in the past. Because that is the important part of signature strength, that they are essential to who you are. So just thinking about signature strengths might help us increase our well-being. But now, after doing this, we can explore new ways that we can use our signature strengths. This is the brainstorming part of signature strengths. Put the signature strengths perhaps on a piece of paper in the middle of it, circle it, and then brainstorm new ways that you can use it. And we can do this as well for maybe our less developed skills or character strengths. We can improve them by acting on them. And after knowing what to do, then act on it simply. Doing the actions in themselves is where most of the benefits lie. You won't develop any of your character buffs without actually acting on these things. For this knowledge to make a difference in our life, we have to actually act on it and then make it a habit. As in, repeat this process perhaps monthly, brainstorming new ways to use your strength. No matter, what matters is that you give some variety to the utilization of your strengths, because variety is the spice of life. So think from this frame and you're going to improve your well-being with a lot greater efficiency. And this is to avoid our biggest enemy for happiness, which is hedonic adaptation. The way that we adapt to positive and negative circumstances equally. And things don't keep us happy. That's why I started off with that proclamation. We get used to things. The worst thing about things is that they remain there and we get used to them. But a way that we can balance against this adaptation is by appreciation and by giving gratitude for the things in our life. We can learn to spot variety and we can learn to appreciate what we already have by keeping a gratitude journal or writing down 3 good things that have happened to us in any particular day. This is beneficial to do at the end of our days, especially because it has positive effects on our sleep as well, and so that we don't bring negative emotions to our sleep. With keeping this journal, we can train our brain to be able to spot the positives in the world a lot more efficiently. It literally rewires our brain to be able to see more good things in the world, and it does that because of a mechanism called neuroplasticity. If we use our brain in particular ways, we're going to enhance those pathways in the brain, and we can develop gratitude by conscious effort on the positive things. You can call it a continuous farming of experience for gratitude. And there are many different techniques for that. Some of them include having a positive gratitude walk, spotting positive things in our work, or taking a mindful photograph of something that we love and something that makes us happy. Also, we can share this with other people. We can keep a gratitude journal with our friend. But there's also a boss fight for gaining experience on gratitude, which is a gratitude visit and a letter. It may be one of the most efficient ways that we can increase our well-being. It takes writing a letter, addressing it to the person, and then going up to the person, visiting them, and reading it out to them. This may be an emotional experience, and that is why a lot of us might be coping on trying to prevent this from happening for ourselves. But delivering it to the person is the way that we can optimize this strategy so that it delivers the most experience to our gratitude skill. And people who struggle more with being grateful benefit the most by this. It's a meta strategy for improving our well-being. It's the most effective tactic available. Those people who benefit most from this are those who struggle with being positive. The natural pessimist gaming strategy. Those people also benefit from active constructive feedback. This is a way of forcing positivity on ourselves when responding to another person, when we are confronted with human interaction QuickTime events. It is a harder strategy to make automatic for some playstyles, but the payoffs are worth it. It is interesting to start, and it may feel inauthentic for us to start in this, especially if we are more gloomy, but it takes acting positively and inquiring into the positive events of other people when they are sharing good news with us. It's kind of a forcing of enthusiasm for ourselves when other people share good news with us. As I said, it may feel inauthentic for you in the beginning, but so does happiness for the depressed people. Doesn't it make sense to appreciate good news? It makes a lot of sense to savor these QuickTime events with people. And savoring of an accomplishment and achievement is also one of those strategies that we can do to get some other buffs. This could include savoring the sights of nature, and there are many different play strategies for savoring. Here are those for the past, here are the strategies to savor the present, and these are the strategies to savor the future. These are big for getting buffs for ourselves, and if we can combine them sometimes and give variety to that as well, remember that circle, then we can compound the buffs that they give. There is a process to combining these buffs, of course. Like with the example of the positive walk in nature. We can combine it with reminiscence, and for the future, we can have anticipation. The greatest benefits for these are not immediate. They are delayed gratification. It takes a while until the benefits of these interventions show up, but they do. It is like going in the gym. Most of the benefits happen whilst recovering, and they are for the long run. But some of the benefits are immediate. You won't notice the radical shift in your well-being overnight, but you will notice it slowly and gradually, just like with working out. It is the same with the benefits of mindfulness, also within the category of positive psychology. The benefits are not immediate, but they are gradually changing the way that we live our life to a great extent. And with developing mindfulness and presence, we grow in the awareness of the beautiful in the world, as well as we become better at positioning ourselves in the decision QuickTime events. We become better at being present and consciously paying attention to existence. And that is the case if we consciously make an effort in order to return our attention to the breath. In meditation sessions, we become better at remaining in the present if we consciously train ourselves in order to return to the present. It is just like lifting weights in the gym or leveling up our character in a video game. Active trying is what makes us better at it. It takes conscious failure to make conscious success, to have unconscious success in being present. That means that we have to try and keep on continuously trying in order to become more mindful. It takes practice in order to grow this skill of mindfulness, but it pays off. Going for a meditative walk in nature, engaging the five senses with nature, paying attention to the details of the natural sight that we are seeing, the smells, the touch of nature. It is a usual exercise to build mindfulness. Finding as many things that we can experience fully is how we can do this. Just observing and not judging the sights in themselves is a way that we can grow in our mindfulness. Or do a walking meditation, not controlling the way you walk, just observing your walk. And when your mind wanders, just gently return it to the walk, to the breath, and to the sights themselves. I don't think that I can overemphasize the difference that it makes in our life to develop this particular habit. It makes all the time spent meditating worth it because it generalizes. This game strategy generalizes to the rest of our life. It may feel unproductive initially, but savoring and mindfulness have great effects for our well-being. Their long-term effects are quite incredible. It is kind of a shame that more people don't know about this. Meditation has so many buffs that it gives to our character. This is just a short list of it. This is not a comprehensive list of things. And this is for mindfulness meditation. For positive psychology specifically, loving kindness meditation is the one that has been shown to increase positive effect with great efficiency. Barbara Fredrickson and her lab have been doing studies on this particular type of meditation for many different benefits, especially those for cardiovascular health, as well as pro-social behavior. For trying these meditations out, I recommend downloading the Medito app, which also includes other meditations, as well as the loving kindness meditation. I highly recommend it because it helped me immensely as well in developing my meditation habit. It has something for everybody, from sleep meditations to loving kindness meditation. It has the added benefit of improving our relationships, which is done by its effects on our positive emotions. These two things exist in a positive cycle within the theory of broaden and build. Positive emotions allowing us to broaden our thought-action repertoires, which allow us to act in more creative ways, as well as in more virtuous ways, which allow us to build interpersonal and intrapersonal resources, which then feeds back to our positive emotions. It is a virtuous cycle, just like with the virtuous cycle of hope and optimism, separate concepts in positive psychology. For hope theory, it is a combination of goal setting, pathways thinking, and agency thinking, all of them being vital for a sense of hope in our life. And the focusing on them has been shown to be improving our mental well-being. And the practice of hope includes many of the corporate solutions like smarter goals and if-then plans and implementation strategies and whoop techniques and others. All of them being valuable strategies for the improvement of our well-being. But one of the best strategies for improving the hope skill is by a best self-visualization. This is the best possible self-visualization that includes visualizing our best possible self where we have achieved all of our goals. Write a day in the life of that person, how they look, how they feel, what are their habits, what are they thinking. The only limit here is your imagination and the laws of physics and logic, of course. Try to imagine everything about them, trying to engage all of your senses. You can close your eyes for this exercise if you want to. This is a positive visualization technique, the one that has been shown to increase hope and optimism. What are they? Think about their identity labels. Are they a philanthropist, an entrepreneur, a father? And now if you're more of a thinking strategy type of person, you can write this down as well. If you're more of a feeler type personality, then mental visualization is of greater benefit to you. If you're more of a thinker, like myself, writing it down on a vision board possibly is one of the ways that you can benefit from this. It is a future-oriented intervention for anxiety, possibly. And these are all the positive psychology interventions, the ones that like to deal with the increasing of our well-being. But here we can also dampen the effects of negative events on our life with also positive psychology techniques and strategies. They are the ones that help us with difficulty and adversity. It would be incomplete without these. Among these include some of the most underrated parts of self-improvement, which would be forgiveness and resilience skills. These are also skills that we need to develop. It first and foremost takes the adoption of a growth mindset, which entails viewing setbacks and difficulties as challenges rather than something that would destroy us. They are rather learning opportunities on the growth mindset. They are active challenges rather than passive obstacles. That is the reappraisal that we can try in order for us to deal with it with greater efficiency. It is the growth of mental resilience that is required for us in this sphere. Forgiving ourselves and others is also an active challenge. The methods in themselves are longer term, and they require positive reappraisals of the situations in themselves. The changing of how we approach problems and difficulties is the actionable part for this. If difficulty, then learning opportunity. If failure, then growth. If failure, then growth in character. We change the if-then programming of our brain. We are conditioning ourselves to embrace hardship. It is a mindset change, or more colloquially known as brainwashing, or indoctrination and manipulation. But that is for a good cause. What else would anybody go to a therapist for if not to get brainwashed? We can use the euphemisms of cognitive reappraisal and mental resilience training and mindset change, or we can call it how it is. Positive brainwashing. I'm gonna cut the corporate BS. The goal of positive psychology is to brainwash you into positivity, basically. My intention here is to brainwash you for your own mental well-being. I am going to be completely honest with you. I'm not hiding behind euphemisms here. Everybody on this planet is trying to unconsciously brainwash you, and that is especially the case with psychologists. Everybody, from your family, to your friends, to your family doctor. I just made it conscious. Just be aware that that is what resilience mindset means. It is a complete changing of our identity. It is a complete brainwashing of ourselves. It is a reconditioning of our brain, because we have conditioned ourselves to become negative. For we have all conditioned ourselves to our problems. Depression, addiction, boredom, aggression, and apathy. We have all conditioned ourselves to be in these states. And we have done this with this MF and this MF. For getting out of this, the psychological mechanisms of positivity must be brought forward. The strategies of positive psychology have to be utilized in order for us to break our own conditioning. We need a purpose to fight for on this one. It is the last step of positive psychology, the increasing of purposeful and meaningful goals in our life. And for that, an actionable step would be a life summary, because how else could we know where we are currently if we don't know where we have been previously? Simply put, we summarize where we have been previously in order to set a direction for the future. Just think about it. A map is useless unless you know where you are and how you've gotten to there, where you are currently. A compass is useless without knowing your current position. Writing a life summary is a tested positive psychology intervention to increase purposefulness for ourselves, because it positions us on the map. It puts our life in context. It creates comprehension by storytelling, and comprehension is what leads to purpose. Now, after I've gone through all of these positive psychology interventions, quite an impressive list. Pick your fighter, pick your strategy, depending on which one you like the most, the one that sounds the best to you. Pick it depending on your current playthrough strategy. Pick one to try, only one for this. Try it out for a week, and if you think that it helped you, then continue. These strategies have changed how I play this great game called life. So save this video if you want to keep on changing your game strats as well. Comment down a commitment for accountability and to just chill and improve your well-being as well. Join our school community. The Purpose School is the top link in the description. Click and watch the video on the screen, and remember to waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. And just be one.